Hey, internets, it's Jake. Finally, sorry about the delay. Yeah, it's it was a little wonky getting started today, and I apologize for that. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I've got a little bit of a new setup here, and I'm excited about the setup. I think it's going to make things a little bit better, but it took a little bit to get going, and on the way out here, I tragically spilled some coffee. Not all over this. All right, it's really quiet. I had this problem before. All right, is this better? Hold on. Oh, there we go. How's this? Can you hear me now? Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I had the gain way down on the mic for some reason, which is off to the side here. Yeah, so as you might be able to tell, if you've been here before, looking behind me, you can tell that things are a bit different than they were before. I spent a lot of time yesterday and some today rearranging the crafting space. I also run games from the same setup, and this thing right here has a ton of my supplies in it now, and it is really heavy, a couple 100 pounds, so a lot of moving stuff around. And I'll give you a sneak peek here if I can. So we added that. I set up what was behind me is now over here. And then the new lighting is in place. And our overhead camera that you'll see in a moment is on the rig that I built a couple years ago. There we go. Sorry about that. Trying to make some people motion sick. That's my goal. So, yeah, so we're trying out a new lighting setup. There we go. So we should have some good even lighting while we're crafting. Let me pop this chat out so I don't have to look all the way off to the side away from you guys. Popping it out. All right, we're going to put that right there. Close this window. There we go. And I had, I forgot I had the stream key in for mine and Drake's podcast, Something RPG-ish. So I started broadcasting to that channel briefly. I couldn't figure out why when I started broadcasting, nothing was happening. All right, enough of that. Let's check out the new overhead shot with picture-in-picture. And there we go. So it's a little bit different. Be sure to let me know if you're having any trouble seeing anything. I'm going to take the headphones off since I don't need to hear myself talk. All right. So, yeah, as I said, this is the new setup. Uh-oh. I think I may have... Oh, no. So, I dropped a couple of these earlier. I think I may have thrown them away on accident. Alright, well, I don't need these pieces until later in the process. These are for the windows, the window insets. I thought all 4 of them were down inside, but they must have fallen. So I will have to remake those. But as I said before, in the previous stream, these aren't going to go in until... They're not going in until the... everything's starting to get painted. In the process of cleaning, I threw a bunch of stuff in random containers along the way. So I need to grab some of that. But I didn't want to miss out on crafting tonight. So we'll see who comes along to join us. I like this new top-down setup with the overhead rig. It's nice and clean. And I also wanted to share something real quick before I get going on the next step here. I found this in the process of cleaning. And if you go on my YouTube channel, Mini Terrain Domain, you will see, which is right here. Actually, right. Anyway, you'll see that one of the very first videos is I'm showing this. This is completely built out of woodcraft sticks using hot glue. I was trying to build a gallows, but this is the part I really like, is it has a working trapdoor that there's a double, it's really hard to see up in there. I don't know if you can see up in there, but in there is a double hinged pin that so this works on one axle for the back and forth and another for this slidey piece on the bottom to be able to go through, and it's all constructed out of craft sticks and toothpicks and stuff, and the idea is that you'd be able to have a mini up there with a noose and then and drop the hatch. So I held on to this. I'd like to use this design, repurpose it, maybe even use this actual piece, but it's really weird, you know, doing craft sticks with hot glue. A lot of these cuts are uneven. I tried to do little puncture marks to get the nail marks. It looks like I didn't even finish it, the nail marks. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I wanted to show that real quick. So, we're going to pick up where we left off after the trial and the tribulation. It's a good thing I remembered my method of marking these with dots. If you can see that I've got a couple little dots on there. There we go. That's how I kept track of what's what. So it goes around counterclockwise. Don't ask me why. So it's going to go like this. 1. It was counterclockwise. Yeah, there we go. And it looks a little wonky there, but I remember the test fit went well last week. Yeah, these two are that size. I'm trying to figure out now is how I'm gonna, what exactly method I'm gonna use. I know why that's wonky. We got flipped left to right. There we go, that's better. Or maybe this one got flipped. There we go. All right, so I have got to figure out how I'm going to glue this. I'm going to pin it through the sides. We already decided that. So I'm thinking that I might, looks like I have to re-glue that. I'm debating right now if I should put a bead of hot glue on there and on each of those and just pop it in place. Because that'll dry really fast. Or do I want to use the other glue, the sticky glue? So that's kind of where we're at right now, is just figuring out how we're going to glue it in place so that it's going to stay. I'm thinking the hot glue is going to give us the best. I just don't want a lot of spillage. I'm going to go with the sticky glue. So this is, where'd the cover go? Great. I lost the lid. So now this is all dried over. Fantastic. Let's see, where'd my all go? The downside to moving everything like I did is I don't know where all my little tools are. Excuse me. Gotta clean out somewhere along the way. I just lost the lid, I guess, since the last time we were working. Might be down in that drawer where I pulled this out of. All right. So, don't be afraid if you're watching to comment. I'm looking up at the comments as we're working here tonight. We're going to be working on this for a couple hours, so people are dropping in, dropping out. Unless you're watching the Oscars or whatever your streaming preferences are. Yep, that's exactly right. You clean stuff and you lose it. The ironic part is I thought for sure I had the lid on it when I put it back in the drawer. Ah, it must have fallen off when I put it in there. There it is. Bloop. So we'll take care of that tonight. Okay. So we're going to need these pins. That's going to help hold her in place. I wonder, should have had something with some weight to it. I might have to just sit here and hold it. So if you haven't already, if you're new to Mini Terrain Domain or you're a returning champion, think about giving us a follow, clicking on the heart follow button up at the top so you get notified whenever I go live with games, streams. I'm going to have a guest streamer in the not too distant future that's going to be running some games on the channel here. Also, if you link your Twitch, if you have Twitch Prime, and if you have Amazon Prime and you link it to your Twitch account, you get 1 free subscription per month. So it costs you nothing. Think about subscribing. And if you're curious what my setup is with some of my crafting supplies, my D&D books, or my hardware setup, you can look on the main page at the there's a gear on Amazon that has direct links, affiliate links to all of the stuff that I use. I won't put anything in there if I don't actually use it. All right, so I'm thinking we're gonna, since we already know how these line up, I'm going to use the sticky glue, and that's going to, as I put the other pieces in, let me move it around a little bit. And then the only other thing I need before I start doing this, I need use this paint cup, and I guess I'll brush in here. This is not the one I want to use. What I need to do, as I showed in the last stream, when working with this glue, it helps to, if you get some rivulets and runoff, to use a wet brush to kind of knock that back. Move that light. There we go. All right, let's do some gluing. Actually, real quick, before I start that, I'm just going to, as a reminder for anybody that's not seen it yet, this is what we're building. This is the Limes Tower of the Lower Rhine. It is a Roman tower that was prevalent throughout Europe in medieval times. And you can see where I've made some changes. Obviously, I talked about this before. Down where the stairs are, now looks a little bit different. But hey, Tamiko, glad to see you here again. Tamiko has been with us since the beginning and will always be with us. Nope, I'm just getting started on the walkway, Tamiko, so whoops. Hi. Wrong shot. There we go. As we go into the walkway. So I'm going to put a thin bead along each of these wooden supports. And then I'm going to put a thin bead on the inside edge. Get my towel here. See, it's already starting to run. Dang it. Not a thin enough bead, apparently. Don't run. Don't drip. That's right. Like I said, we'll hit it with that water and brush in a minute. Alright. And there it is, first glue on the new mat. So I'm eyeballing this on the inside edge to line it up with, oh, all right. Push this back a little bit, you can see. Now the nice thing about this tacky glue is it dries a little bit quicker. All right, so got some glue up on the edge here. Looks like we got good contact. A little bit of running, and we definitely don't want this glue does dry clear, but I don't want it to dry with marks, you know, like leaving behind where these obvious drips of clear. So I'm just painting in the edges here. Let's see if I can give you a little better view. Not really. Oops. So I'm just painting along the seams, painting water along the seams. Makes that glue run a little bit. This particular area will rarely be seen in this dice tower, but I still don't want it to be an obvious thing. I'm sure its new owners will at some point pick it up, turn it over, look at the whole thing. Probably turn it over anyway, because I usually put, when I make these dice tower commissions, I usually paint the bottom black and put the name of the dice tower and sign it, put a message to the person I made it for. You know, just in case after I'm gone, it turns out I'm famous like Leonardo or Michelangelo, Donatello, you know, the turtles, Raphael. Don't we all aspire to be as famous as the turtles? I think so. And of course my paint jar here is a reused small peanut butter jar. I did a fun little video on how you can repurpose peanut butter jars about, I don't know, 2 years ago. My most hated video. Not if it means Shredder will be after me. Well, I'll already be dead though. That's what I was saying. After I'm dead and gone, it turns out I'm as famous as the turtles. Or the artist who they were named after. So I'm feeling pretty good about how that's sitting on there. That I can move on to the next one. One thing is we'll have to be careful once we get around, as we're rotating this, flipping it around. I don't want to put too much pressure on this after when I rotate it over, so I'll have to figure something out. And we're going to do a couple other pieces. It's looking like there's a small gap here, which I was intending for. So when it's all done, we'll cut some pieces to go along inside there That'll be a facing board, a fascia board for here. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, Llama. I'll have to set a block of foam or something underneath it so I don't put pressure on it. I've got a wooden box over here, scar box, that I might use. Oh, I'm going to have to do it already because the corners are sticking out. All right. You know what? Oh, I'm going to use this plastic box of rocks. Yes, I have a box of rocks here. Ooh, that works really well. That's not sitting close like I wanted it to. Whoa, just lifted the whole thing off of there. Dang it, that is not what I wanted. Oh, I know. When I put the pins in there, I can push this in before I pin, and that should do what we need. I just don't want too much of a gap in there when it dries. Okay. Don't get oil paint on your keyboard. Although I've got this wireless keyboard over here that I've got all kinds of paint and stuff on it. Alright, my coffee's getting cold. Since I spilled it. Alright, next is this one, number 2. So we're going to fit that. Yeah. Yep. It's going to need that anyway. The pins to hold it in place. Okay, same thing. Oh, what the? That was weird. Yeah, I gotta do this quicker. Oops. And the glue goes on. Thin little beads. A little dab will do ya. I went over the edge a little bit, but before it can go too far, I'm gonna hit that. I already got the pins out. So now the pins. That's the wrong way. Let's see. Oh, that just flipped right up. And that went through at an angle. This is not going to be as easy as I was hoping. Come on, man. You gotta be like that. Okay. That one went in. Alright. Tension, Tamiko says. Yeah, it's just trying to get it in straight, and it's also delicate. That's the other thing. You can see how these keep popping away too. Alright, so we got one pin in there. Being the big dummy I am, I can't put a pin in from the other side or the other angle because it'll bump into the other one. I can do another one here. Let's see. That should go in enough. Tension. No pin showing through top or bottom. Oh, go breaking it. I did that last time too, flipping it. It's getting ugly under there. I'm really pissed if I put all this on and it turns out to not work. I think it's going to work though. I mean, we did all the test fitting last week. And it looked good with the test fit. I wonder if I pre-pin the other two, put them in place, if that'll work better. The tension of that being pinned is pulling this apart. So, need to work quicker. So this is 4. Well, I could just put this on real quick. First, I'm going to pin these first. Try this. All right, start taking bets in the chat. Yeah. Hey, NNG9, thanks for stopping by. NNG9 Plays. You're gonna have to tell me the name exactly, but with Tall Squall and some others in. Oh, that's my thumb. Dead nibbit. I caught them this morning in Dungeons and Coffee that Tall Squall hosted. But they play in Vice, I believe. Vice is I forget the name of the game. I'm so sorry. But you can tell us in the chat what it is. The Vice campaign. There it is. It's so weird how I stumbled across you guys, because the answer is I don't know. It was probably, I think it might have been through, because Tall Squall Plays in Encounter Role Plays. Dang it, I just went to the bottom. Encounter Role Plays Learn to Play series. And I might have been watching that. This is not working as well as I thought it would at the start of it. And NNG9 does, I know does video game streams on their channel, because I have watched some. Hey, here's something fun. If you guys like watching video game streams, possibly as early as next week, I'm going to start streaming some games too. Most specifically, in keeping with the D&D overall theme of the channel, I will be streaming Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation. It's a turn-based board game style thing. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. But I just bought it the other night. I've been playing it. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's not an action-y video game, but I'm running a Tomb of Annihilation game on the channel here on Monday nights, as most of you know. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't know what you know. I don't mean to presume anything. It's like I'm trying not to stick my finger with this pin. Youch. I'm hoping this works to pre-pin it. I really want to run one from the other direction, but oh snap, I just lost a pin and I think it went on my lap. Come on. Well, I'm gonna find that with my foot later. It just flipped out of my finger and I don't know where it went. Okay, I will have to find that. I'm wearing shoes right now, so. Alright, let's see. Tamiko says, Jake just set himself a trap. Yes, it's a 1 point of damage. NNG9, I knew we were going to be friends. Coming in here with the puns. You can't pin down its location, eh? I love a good pun. I never thought I did. But I've designed a series of games called... Well, I didn't design the grung shots. I got the idea from Chris Lindsay and his One Grung Above campaign. But I've run some grung games like Grung with the Wind... And I'm going to be running Grungzilla. Oh, yeah. If you don't follow Mazmataz, also known as Spun Yarns and Dragons on Twitter, they also have a Twitch stream. They love puns. They live for puns. Puns are life, puns are joy. I'm really worried about that pin, that it's sticking in my shirt, or I'm just going to take a look here on the table as I drop my cap to the glue, because that thing just flipped right out of my finger. No, I don't want to set an alarm. Stupid phone. Just going to flip the light down here real quick. I mean, it really could only have gone straight down. Unless I flipped it forward. Okay, I do not know where that pin went. Alright, well, need to get a magnet to run across the ground. Okay. And if you're wondering, we'll get back to the crafting here. That's true. It could be on the far side of the room, but I don't think I flicked it that far. It was a real soft flick. Enough that I thought it went right into my shirt or up under the edge of the mat here, but it didn't. Okay. These pin heads will be covered with fascia. Let's see. This is 4. 1. Okay, so this is going to go like this. Then I can pin those other 2 corners and bring this all back to square. So I need to put the glue on all of these. You know, I think I'm going to put it on this first because this doesn't drip. So I'm going to put it on the inside here. Sorry, I have this habit of pulling everything close and going off camera. Not a good thing to do when you're running a crafting stream, right? Like I just did again. So it looks like, as I'm looking at the stream, like y'all can see really good, right? Like the lighting is pretty good, but I keep putting myself in shadow because this light up over my shoulder here. I might have to make some adjustments, bring that in as a true overhead or something. All right, so that I'm gonna put, well, that should be fine there. That won't be fine there because I have to pick it up to glue. All right, let's set this over here. It's a wider shot with the camera where it is, so you can see it better. That mat is so shiny and new looking. Yeah, I already got some glue on the side of it. I had it last week already, but I didn't have room for it. I removed this whole hutch thing at the front part of my desk. That gives me much more room for crafting. There's so much more room for activities. So I'm not, if I'm not, nope, I don't even know what I was trying to say. I'm going to ask a question. That's what I'm going to do. Who's playing D&D this week? And what are you playing? And when? And where? Or not even if it's not D&D. If you're just playing an RPG. Who's got something lined up? Something already in the pipe. Pipe? I'm telling you, it was a long day yesterday moving stuff around. Llama 747 playing Pathfinder today. I have never played Pathfinder. Well, I take that back. I GM'd a game for my son once from the beginner box. It was just too complex for me. Playing Cryfoth tonight. Okay, Tamiko. That gives me an excellent segue. An excellent segue into an announcement for the channel that I teased at the beginning. Speaking of Cryfoth, Cryfoth, for those that don't know, is Dice on Ice's new 5e based setting that is very bleak, dystopian, tiefling-centric setting. And it's very exciting. They had a very successful Kickstarter. And I'm playing in a game coming up in, I think next week actually. We're playing a level 7 game. But that's not the announcement. Megan from Dice on Ice is my player. One of my players, playing an ASMR warlock named Berlinia in my Cult of Personality D&D 5e Tomb of Annihilation game here on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's also not my announcement. Marquise, who is also one of my players in that game, is going to be running a 7-week series of Cryfoth, where the players are the last 7 humans alive, or last 4 humans alive, and they have 7 days to live. It's going to be a 7-week campaign, and it's going to be right here on Mini Terrain Domain on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Maybe 8:30. We'll have some announcements, which means Guild Artisan will be temporarily moving for a few weeks. Probably, we're already on Thursday nights. I'll probably move it to Tuesday nights. Or we may just do one night for a few weeks. But Marquise requested that he could run on the channel, and I'm excited to host him on the channel. So, and it's not that I'm hosting in the Twitch sense. Marquise will actually be broadcasting on the Mini Terrain Domain channel. We won't be hosting his show or his channel. He's literally taking over MTD for the 7 weeks on Sundays. Again, at his request, and I'm excited to see how that game turns out. I'll be watching it, since normally I would be here crafting. So I'll definitely be tuning in to watch it. This is working really good. Mama 747, yeah. Playing with mom and other friends. Yeah, I know you guys had a Pathfinder campaign. Carol talks about that a bit. I like the simplification of 5e. I just didn't have time for all the rules. I never played 3.5. I went for a long period of time, probably about 15 years, where I didn't play D&D. Mostly because I didn't know people were still playing. I never knew about 3.5 and Pathfinder. Scared me. I thought I poked myself. Until much later. Whoa, that just shifted. I don't know what that was. Yeah, I mean, I think with the right GM, I could probably enjoy a Pathfinder game, but it's just super crunchy, and I don't even like crunchy peanut butter. You know, I like my peanut butter nice and creamy. I know what to expect from it. I know I'm not going to have a mouthful of crunchiness. So, I'm not big on crunchy systems. But hey, a lot of people out there still enjoy playing Pathfinder, and that's awesome. Edge of the Empire, Karen says Edge of the Empire on Thursday, 5e one-shot on Friday, run by Baron with Nick, Jeremy, and Jaren. Awesome. Crunchy peanut butter is lies. Followed immediately by Heart Crunchy Peanut Butter. Two diverse opinions. But I definitely think I'm with you, NNG9. Crunchy peanut butter is... I just don't want nuts in my mouth. And I'm not trying to... I'm not meaning that in... I meant the double entendre. I'm not going to lie. I meant the double entendre. But I don't want them. I don't know if there's a way to do polls. I wish there was a way to do polls in the chat, like on Twitter. Tomiko is Camp Crunchy Peanut, but Tomiko, I'm going to revoke your moderator status. I'm just kidding. No, I just never... I think as a kid, maybe my mom or somebody was into crunchy peanut butter, and we had it in the house, but I don't know. Just not a fan of the crunchy. Maybe, you know what it is I put crunchy. Yes, I know it's made from nuts. But they're smooth and creamy and buttery. I put my peanut butter on toast for years. Peanut butter toast was a staple for me. As a snack, as a meal, comfort food, waffles, pancakes. And that's just not... I don't want nuts on my bread. I don't want nuts on my pancakes. I don't want nuts on my waffles. I don't like to get nuts in my sundaes. So, yeah, Team Creamy here all the way. Another fantastic pun for the win. Your peanut butter opinion is nuts. Tomiko and Llama. Thank you again. I'm so glad you stopped by, NNG9. Feeding us those nutty puns. Yeah, see, this is what I expected all along. Was to bump into the other pins. I think that's going to force it to an angle. Maybe not. Okay, I think I've got all the pins in place that I need. I've just got to... This is the hard part, is it's so delicate. It'll pick up some stability when the glue dries, and when I go over the whole thing with oh, I need to get this corner. Derp. Puns for days. Oh, another announcement, because some people may not have noticed. And I guess you wouldn't notice unless you were a subscriber to the channel. But, here, I'm going to hit them real quick, because I can do all three of them. I made custom emotes for the channel. They're for different subscriber levels, but everybody that subscribes to the channel will have access to the MTD Castle. And then at the next level is the T-Rex. And these two go with my Chult campaign. The emotes of the T-Rex and the zombie are actually artwork by Locrius. They're actually used, they appear in the animated intro to the Chult of Personality campaign that Locrius designed for us. But I made affiliate status about a week ago, and I was very excited about that. There's Tamiko with the subscriber level emote. Which, as a reminder, if you have a free Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, you link it with your Twitch account, because Amazon owns Twitch, you get a free $4.99 subscription to any Twitch channel of your choice. Poke through the bottom. So, if you didn't even know about that, why not consider subscribing to Mini Terrain Domain? We do live crafting. We're going to have video game streams coming up soon. I'm going to be doing some demonstrations, tutorials, and things like that in future episodes. This is not going as smoothly. You know, that's another argument for me for the whole peanut butter thing is nobody ever says this is going crunchy. People talk about how smooth something is going. This is not going as smoothly. That's the problem. This is crunchy. All right, I'll let the crunchy peanut butter argument die. You can carry it on if you wish. There's a weird gap on this one, but I'll allow it, because it's going to get covered on the bottom. Oh, I got to touch up that glue. Oh, yeah. See, this just got so much firmer by pinning the corners. For when we get to the next phase of this this whole walkway section, we're definitely going to need it to be firm. And apparently tonight, apparently tonight is the episode of Double Entendres. Alright, so just as a reminder, I put the glue down for the bottoms, and to keep it from looking, when it dries clear, from looking like it's all globbed up, I'm just kind of using water on a paintbrush to blend it in a little bit. I wish I could remember who I saw do this. It's just somebody I saw on YouTube doing a crafting video, and they just did it, and I was like, that's genius. Trying to keep that so you can see it. Yeah, so looks like a few people got some games planned this week. I'm not playing in as many games these days. and part of that is just trying to get my schedule straightened out. Oh, so some of you that are in the chat, you already know from some of the communities that we're in that I run a couple times a year. I run a game called The Affairs of Dragons, and in these games, I let my players play as dragons, straight out of the monster manual. You're gonna play an adult green dragon. Your stats are whatever's in the monster manual. So obviously it's very heavy RP. You have all the abilities, except you don't have legendaries and you don't have layers. I may have in the last one given the players legendary resistance, but I don't remember. But anyway, I've run one where it was near the end of it was way in the future of Faerun in the Forgotten Realms, and things were getting kind of desolate, and there were only a few dragons left. They were among some of the last of the dragons, and they went up at the behest. Actually, what happened was all of their treasure hoards vanished. Just while they were there, their treasure hoards just disappeared. And so they found a copper coin that they recognized the symbol belonged to a copper dragon in the north named Chrysinatrix. So they went to see Chrysinatrix, and he basically lied to them and deceived them, and they wound up having to face Tiamat, who rose from the 9 hells. And they fought and defeated an aspect of Tiamat. And then one of the players in that was Chad Nick, the Gastro Gamer, playing Locrius the Voiceless. Well, later, the next game I ran was called What Lies Betwixt Us. And it was featuring just Locrius the Voiceless, this time played by Locrius, and another blue named Chatterax. And they wound up facing against 2 legendary gnome dragon hunters played by Tim and James Carney. And all these are available on the Mini Terrain Domain YouTube channel. And in the third game, ran just a few months ago, they had to... the world was ending. They were summoned to fight Tarask, the ender of worlds, the destroyer of worlds. And they had to go see a black dragon that had an artifact that could supposedly destroy the Tarask. And ultimately, they sent the Tarask to another plane of existence with this artifact. But it also sent one of the dragons to another plane. The other dragon wound up on the 9th level of the Abyss, with Tiamat rising behind him. All of that to say, I've decided that my next Affairs of Dragons game is going to be in the not-too-distant future, and it is going to feature pseudo-dragons and fairy dragons, and it's going to take place in a magnificent fey garden. And they're going to be working with pixies and fairies, and we'll probably have some super tiny little demons. And I'm basically going to look for all of the things that are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hit point creatures. But yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And right now I'm looking at a possible person from Twitter as one of the players. She's expressed an interest. So I'll be posting some interest posts here, there, and everywhere. I'm hoping to pull some people in, maybe from Twitch or Twitter, as well as from the community group. The community I'm talking about, by the way, for those that don't know, is the Absolute Tabletop official group on Facebook. It's just the bomb. It's awesome. I've got some... Ooh, Llama says she might be interested. That could be a fun one to get you and your mom in. Maybe, you know, I could possibly run... I've run some games for your family before. NNG9 says that sounds cool. Maybe... You know... Yeah, I'm just trying to branch out with a lot of different people. Maybe I'll run it more than once, have different groups. It'd be kind of cool to have some one that's from you know, the traditional group of people, but also from other games. Yeah, I've seen some of your dragon art, Llama. I think you might have shared a link last time, but I've disabled link sharing. Just, I don't want to... I don't want to get crappy, weird links in the chat as the channel grows. Yeah, I've always loved dragons, even before playing D&D. Okay, I think that's about all I can do on that. So really, we just got to let that dry. So what's next? What's next on this piece? I gotta put a fascia piece on here. Maybe I'll do that now. Kind of wondering if I should do hot glue. No, because hot glue... If I do hot glue, that's gonna pop right off of there. What I'd like to do... Alright, where's my sticks go? So I'm thinking for a fascia piece, I'm just going to use... You know, I bet... I mean, I could put foam. Just cover it with foam, but I kind of like having the wood piece here. Alright, where'd my little gluer go? You know, I always measure in imperial, and it seems ridiculous. At some point I'll try to remember to fix my Twitch account, to have a reasonable username. I thought it was supposed to link to my Discord account, but I don't know if it actually is or not. It confuses me. Yeah, I think you can literally just go into your Twitch account and change your name. It didn't used to be that way. Well, I like the metric for the precision for some of this stuff, but I just don't think to use it all the time. Like, this is tilted my head to see as the light shines off this. It looks like it's 55 millimeters. And of course my mat here, you can't see. My mat here along the bottom has inches. You'd think they'd put like metric and inches on here. I guess it wouldn't work with the grids, but whatever. I'm just belly aching. Of course, I'm not sure where my number 5 went. Number 5 is alive. No disassemble. No disassemble. 100 XP to the first person who can name that movie. Turns out some of this stuff doesn't fit in here like I thought it did. So we'll have to put that over there. Not sure where I put the number 5 blade. Oh gosh, I don't remember the name. Tomiko gets 100 XP. Oh no, she stole it. Alright, you get 50 points each. She stole it on a context clue. I see what you did there. Once you saw Johnny 5. Yeah, Short Circuit, Johnny 5, Steve Gutenberg, and what was her name? Ali Sheedy. An emery board here. The quote was something about number 5 is alive. I was talking about my number 5 blade, and then I said no disassemble, no disassemble. Milton Crosby, you know what people are liking at night? Headlights. It was a terrible casting choice to have what's his name, Fisher, play Fisher Stevens, a white American man, play an Indian in brown skin. But yeah, okay, so that'll work. Not sure how I want to fix that because I could hot glue it. I haven't turned on the hot glue gun. My fear is with hot glue sometimes it just can easily pop out of there, but with these corrugations, if I get the hot glue across there, it'll actually like grab inside the corrugation and prevent it from popping out. So, which is exactly what's going to make it harder for the other glue. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. Yeah, I haven't seen Short Circuit in ages. Run out of workable paint on my palette, and it's all borrowed. I don't have my own oil paint yet. I've never worked with oils. Ooh, sorry about that. Fire up the old glue gun. Fire up the glue gun. Boop 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 boop. Alright, let's get out of there. That was lame. Alright, I need to get the glue gun heating up so I can glue this piece in place. This is my custom glue gun holder, so it can sit there while it's heating up. I'm going to put that just off camera. And get that heating up. Finish this last little bit of probably cold. coffee. Ugh. Pop a can of LaCroix here. All right. Well, Llama talking about the oil paints. Well, it's still workable, having sat on this palette since Tuesday with plastic wrap on it, at least somewhat. So that's fun. Unlike acrylics, wherein I was spritzing with water every 3 minutes and it still dried to my palette while I was working. I'm not positive, but I think that's what wet palettes do for acrylic. Because I know Nate over at WASD20 uses a wet palette, and I think it lets you, at least like for painting, painting whatever, like miniatures and trains and stuff like that, that he, I don't know how it works. I think there's like, sponge in there and a little bit of water, and then you cover it and it keeps your paints liquidy. I don't know what just happened to Miko. Oh. Cat on the keyboard. That's funny. Alright. It's going to take a minute for this glue gun to heat up while I figure out what's next. So I need to get the Proxon over here. I don't have any outlets left. After I glue this on, because the Proxon, I won't need the glue gun for a little while. So I think we'll start cutting the fascia pieces, and then I'm gonna jump back over here to show you what I'm working on. So as a reminder, here's the tower that we're working on, and I'm gonna change the size on this so you can see the area that we're working in a little bit better. Excuse me while it moves around. There we go, fill the screen. So here's the section that we're working on. And I'm probably not going to have these little knob things showing through, but we're going to be doing the fascia piece here. And then I got to figure out all these. I was going to cut those out of foam, but I'm getting really concerned about how delicate all that's going to be. Scale-wise, it's pretty close to what the, like, doubled up on the wood pieces, but I do not want to do all that out of wood. I forget you guys can't see where my mouse is pointing, but I'm looking at the cross pieces on here. Oh, that's right. Oh, haha, that's what we got to do. Up on either side of the door here, the angled pieces of wood. If you remember in the last stream, I remembered that I forgot to do the angle pieces, and we were going to do that this week. So yeah, I'll have to get those all figured out. That's going to be a joy. We'll flip this model around to do that, but that's what we got to do. I'm not even sure if it's worth it. Maybe I'll do smaller angled pieces in here. I don't know. What do you think? Is it worth it to do it here at the top where it's going to be take up most of the space? I think it'll look unbalanced because we're going to have one down here running from roughly here to here. Or here. I got to look back at the tower. No, they don't go corner to corner. They're slightly off from the corner, which actually makes them easier to deal with. I'm just not sure if I should do them in that top section. And I could get away with... What about this? Because I changed the design a little bit. What if I just put an extra vertical? I think that's going to look too busy. If I went with extra... I like the angle piece. Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, just checking something. All right. Your proportions are a little different than the reference also, so that's going to change how it looks. Yeah. Yeah, because I changed the overall dimensions of the tower, it was going to be too tall if I did the full size of the other one. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the angle pieces. All right, let me see if the glue gun's heated up enough. Yep. So we're going to, let's move this so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna, I'm deliberately popping the glue, making sure it goes down into these corrugation holes. So it's gonna be like little fingers grabbing on. And then we'll just press this. Ah, it's so hot. If you head over to Twitter, to @MTDJake on Twitter, you can actually see the before and almost after pics. I'll have to take another one later in the week when I get the rest of the organization done to see the new workspace. It's the same workspace, I just reorganized it. Yeah, that grabbed really good. Look at the ugly underside here. I don't know what happened. I went so over the board, over the top. But yeah, this piece, this is all going to be glued onto a baseboard anyway, so nobody will ever see that other than you guys or anybody that watches the stream. I wanted stability because of all the dice that are going to be dropping through there. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Whoa. Let's watch that. What the? There we go. As we... Alright, I need... I forgot to make a fancy placard. So I'm going to do this way. I have got to run to the restroom real quick, so I'm going to I should have put the music in there. But let me do this. Cause I just can't leave well enough alone. We'll loop it, browse, Twitch assets. Okay. Can you hear that music? Whether or not you can hear the music, I'm going to mute my mic, and I will be back in just a moment. And I'm back. Alright, and I decided, last week I had the debate about whether or not to pour myself a glass of wine. I've decided the answer was yes. We are back. No need for that. Which one of these is the... Unplug the hot glue gun, because we don't need it. But what we do need... Oh, yeah, I almost knocked it over onto the keyboard. It's a decent Merlot. Put that over there and try not to forget about it. All right, so this is going to be interesting as I try to... I'm going to have to do each side separately because that's not right. Because the measurements aren't all the same all the way across. So I can't just cheat it. That music is called, I'll tell you in a moment. It's from Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, and it is called Hand Balance Redux. I've decided that that's the show's theme. All right, so all I'm doing here is trying to find some of the corner is there. It's gonna be my first shot at it. And because I don't do super precision, oh, of course you couldn't see that because the way I leaned the mic or the thing. I basically just lined it up, drew some pencil marks. Oh, sorry if the music was too loud. Is my mic still really quiet? I mean, can you hear me okay? I'm kind of turned away from it periodically. It's just not practical to talk directly into the mic the whole time. Maybe what I need is a lavalier mic for when I'm doing this stuff. Oh, there goes that. I don't want to get that in my wine. Oh, see, I keep doing stuff off stream. There we go. Now you can see it. Yeah, it's Fargonaut. You were not here. Real quick, you can see that's what we're working on. This is the Limes of the Lower Rhine Tower style. So it's got a little bit of a Tudorness to it. Maybe the Romans built them in that part of Europe, and they were like, "Hey, we like that style. Let's appropriate it." Of course, I forgot to mark which side was which, but that's all right. We'll see here in a minute if this even worked. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? No, you don't know, because you can't think what I'm thinking. I will give 200 XP. And this is probably going to be for the couple of you that have been here before. But what did I forget to do to this piece of wood? 200 XP. And you can redeem that XP at any D&D game. Just tell your DM that, hey, Mid-Terrain Domain gave me this. I'm sure that'll work just fine. That's half of what I forgot. Llama 747. Anna, you got it. I forgot the wire brush, but I also forgot one other thing. All right, well, you can't have the 200 XP if you don't remember the whole process. I don't know where my other wire brush went. I don't know if it's in this box. Yes, there it is. Still don't know where my number 5 knife went. Thought for sure I stuck it in one of those drawers. Alright, so I want the silver ones a little tougher. But yeah, one of the things is to... Ow! Ow! That's why it's better to do it with the full... I'm going to tear this mat up if I do that. But the other thing I forgot is... this, where I take my blade and I shave just a little tiny bit off the edges to give it kind of a rough hewn look. And you'll see when we eventually, when we get to this point, when we start painting this thing, where this really pops. Oh, and look at that. It's got a weird bow to it. I don't know why I just did that. It's wood. That's not going to have any effect on it. I just breathed on it like, hey, that's going to... Look at that. That, man. I just love these kind of details. Look at that. Just making sure that it's sitting in there nicely, kind of locked in place. I need to put that, I need it to be bowed a little bit. Oh, I just cracked it. I just broke it instead of bowed it. Well, it's bowed now. It's one of those like internal cracking. All right. So, top of the hour, just another reminder, if you're here for the first time or you've been here a couple times and you haven't yet thought about it, up at the top or somewhere else in the app, depending on where you're viewing this, you can click follow to follow Mini Terrain Domain and be notified whenever I start doing crafting streams, D&D live play streams, when one of my guest broadcasters starts running one of their things, or when probably next week I start streaming some Tomb of Annihilation Tales from Candlekeep. Also, you can subscribe to the channel if you link your Twitch Prime, your Amazon Prime to Twitch. Then you get a free subscription. It doesn't cost you anything, because you're already paying for Prime. So why not subscribe to Mini Terrain Domain? Helps the channel out. I've got big plans, people. Big plans! But I need the community. There we go. I need... I want to call you guys something like MTD's supporter terrain domain STD. Nope, that won't work. Minions. You know, that's kind of got a connotations already. What's that nope to? Was that nope to the the STD? And talk amongst yourselves. All right, it's gonna not gonna take super long like I thought, but we got to do this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 times, 15 more times. Different sizes, but hey, here's what I'm gonna do. what I'm going to remember to do. Need to buy some more of these sticks. Thinny sticks. I know you can get them other places, but I really like the ones that you get 75 for a couple bucks at Walmart in their crafting section. That's good. I don't like that one. That's got a weird bow to it. Although maybe they'd, if I got them from a different company, they'd be better. I don't like the popsicle stick ones. That's got a bit of a bow. Well, that would be awkward for you in conversation. Yeah, my STDs are great. I'm getting more and more every week, too. Hey, everybody, I've got STDs. They're the best. Nope, none of that. All right. I'm probably going to be able to get at least 2 out of each of these. I could use some of these that have the bow on the end, but save those for other things. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Actually, that should be enough because the small ones I can probably get 3 or 4. So, I need a little wood block around here somewhere. I also have another grungier cutting board that I've lost track of in the move. I don't want to tear this. Alright, I'm just going to hold them. I don't want to tear up this new cutting board with all kinds of wire scrapes. See, I knew I was going to forget that I had this wine over here. Yeah. You know what? I got it. Of course, I can't get to any of that. Boom. Turn a notebook upside down. Yeah, I'm with you there, Tamiko. I generally wait until after 8, depending. It's been a really rough week, maybe a little earlier. But I never know when I'm going to have to run out and pick a kid up from somewhere. Or, well, one of my kids, not just any kid. Or, for some reason, that's just grating on me tonight. See what I did there? The more wine I drink, the more of those you'll get. Oh, I cannot stand that. It's weird. It's the sound it's making and the texture as it goes across the cardboard has just gotten under. Whew, that's just gotten under my skin all of a sudden. I'll take a break from that. One of those sounds, for me, that's like a nails on chalkboard thing. Ugh. Didn't bother me last time, but just now it did. It shivels up my spine. Shivels, as my sister used to say. that's dumb. Don't pull the knife towards you, kids. That's just asking to get cut. We could be beardlings, but I mean, it would be weird now. It's that cardboard. No, get out of here. Get. For some reason. So when I was in the Army, we had cots that we sometimes slept on. These Army cots with the vinyl, not vinyl, like canvas stretched across the frame. And every morning, because I was deployed to Bosnia, and when we were in our fire base, we slept in a big tent in sleeping bags on those cots. And every morning, we would clean up, and everybody would like brush the sand and dirt off of their cot. And I could not stand that sound of wiping your hand across that canvas. The sound your hand makes on the canvas, plus when there's sand. I'm like, why don't you just turn it on its side and dump the sand off? Oh, it just irritated me. Nails on chalkboard, man. Loo-ba-doo-doo-doo. Thanks to everybody that's spending some time with me while you're crafting. I'm trying to make it entertaining. Make it fun for y'all. Alright. Alright. I think after I get these couple of dice towers that I'm working on done, and to their new owners, I might open up commissions again for more dice towers. Or, you know, I don't do just dice towers. Oh, hey, I'm surprised I haven't mentioned this yet. If you haven't seen it yet, on Wednesday, and then I ran a rerun on Friday again, I ran the Tomb of the Mummy Lord, featuring terrain that I built, a pyramid, an actual pyramid with removable floors and several rooms, and I ran it remotely right here on the channel for the guys from Absolute Tabletop, Matt Click, Michael Barker, and Tim and James Carney. And it was fantastic. I had the terrain over here to the side, had a camera on it, and I had a separate scene where you could see a bigger shot of all the terrain. And it just went great. And I'm thinking of ways I can incorporate more terrain in games I run. But that game is archived on the channel, on the Twitch channel here, in the video section. So you can check that out at your leisure. And soon, I will get that ported over to YouTube, so it will be available over there going forward. Thank you, Tomiko. I appreciate that. And Karen as well. I know Karen mentioned she just finished watching it recently. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had quite a few people that watched with us on Wednesday when we streamed it. And a lot of people have gone back and watched that video. I put the link up on Twitter and other places. It was just so much fun. And those guys are a great group of guys. And it just showed that I can run games with terrain and have them be effective. It was not disruptive really either, because I could move the camera while still looking at the stream and just shift it around and stuff. And yeah, there was a couple points where I think the camera stayed really long on a shot where I should have switched back. But overall, yeah, that Tamiko, that was a really quick walkthrough I did at the very end. I'm actually going to do a stream where I do a complete room by room tour of the tomb and kind of talk about it. You know, it might end up being about a 30 or 40 minute, who might get in? It's going to be an hour long stream, where I just tour through and I'll talk about the process of building, and I'll actually have, I'll set up some other scenes, maybe a slideshow with scenes of the build process, which those pictures are, quite a few of them are on Mini Terrain Domain Facebook page in the photos section. Sorry. So there goes that piece. So let me ask you guys this. So I've mentioned before that that I'm running or that I'm building this dice tower. I'm building, oh, that's some dirty water. I'm building a my own custom Tomb of Annihilation dice tower. It's going to have the green devil face, and it's going to have a trapdoor and all that stuff. I've got a steampunk refinery type tower that I'm building for Dice on Ice. And I've got a Dragon's Horde dice tower commission, Dragon's Lair, that I'll be doing for Carol, Llama 747's mother. And that's going to involve painting a dragon miniature, and I'll be doing all those on stream. But what else would you like to see? See, that's not going to work. What ideas do you have for dice towers that you think would be cool, you'd like to see me attempt to build? Tell me so I can steal your suggestions. I don't think that you can steal a suggestion, because a suggestion is something that's given freely, right? Help me justify plagiarism. No, I'm kidding. That sounded really bad taken out of context. See? I also mentioned, whoa, that's not what I wanted. I need a stable ground here. I got an idea for, oh, something druid themed. That's good. That's good. A hollow tree. Actually, I had thought of something like that. Maybe doing a spooky tree with like pumpkins all around the base, and I don't have enough hands for what I'm trying to do. Yeah, that could actually be pretty cool. Make a hollow tree. I could, man, it'd have to be really thick. And obviously could only go so high. Like maybe it's like a dead hollow tree, and you dump your dice down in the trunk, but it's got all these gnarled branches, and maybe it's got like I know you said druid, but I see like maybe Baba Yaga's nearby, or from Curse of Strahd, Baba La Saga. Okay. Mm-hmm. That could be really cool. I think the Spirit of Cholt, as a tiki-like god statue, would be badass. Like the tower could be like stones. There could be torches and vegetation around the side. A sacrifice, perhaps. Dice goes in the top, pops out the mouth. That'd be cool too. One idea I have is, I mentioned before, is a Western themed, like a gold mine where the dice drop in from the top of this like rock structure, and then they pop down, land inside the mine in a cart that then rolls out. Or maybe they just come rolling out of the mine entrance. I don't know. How the hell did that happen? That's not right at all. It must have slipped when I was cutting or marking it. Unless I grabbed... No, I think I grabbed the wrong side. Man. What the heck happened here? It must have slipped. The angles aren't... Yeah, it had to have slipped because the angles aren't lining up right. Well, that's way off. Blast it all. Yeah, I was wondering that, Tamiko. Without the top cross beams, they might be more trouble than they're worth. Here's an idea. Let me spit this out there. See what you think. And this might be too over the top. So I've got these matchsticks. I mean, I could do a thinner one at the top. But I feel like if I'm going to do that, that I should also do a thin one here. But we could also do, maybe break these into thirds. Yeah, I think you're right. The thin doesn't look good. I think we'll just focus on these bottom ones and then take another look at it and see how it looks. But I think it's going to be all right. Because I really narrowed this piece down. I'm not sure why I did that. But I did. Oh, I know why. Because of the way I cut it off. It's the way it is. You can tell how it is because of the way it is. I think that's how that goes. All right. So, flip this. Let me check on my... This whole side looks like it's popped up. I might have to do something about... Yeah, it might be all right. Okay. Sitting in this chair, I might not be able to do a full to 10 o'clock stream because, like I said, I spent 8 hours yesterday. Literally, I had to... I'm going to just pop off this to a different camera for a minute. I literally moved everything that... Because the table that's over here on the side used to be... let me just show you again. So that table right there, that's to my right, used to be behind me. And then it had the 2 bookshelves stacked on it. And I moved everything off of the desk because I used to have a hutch on my desk, which I no longer do. That is actually... There's just computer. There's no hutch. I can't really show it to you. But, this camera. So, yeah. So, I moved everything over because I was just going to get that table out of here. And I was going to move that big, heavy, just honking thing, which weighs a ton. That's what I nearly broke my back on. And then my wife said, hey, why don't you put that table off to the side? So that's where that is. And like I said, I got some more organization to do. But the idea is that I'd be able to just move over to the side. And then, yeah, so then just moving everything around. It was like move things from here to there. Then move it over to here. Then move it from here to there. And the other side of the room here is still stacked with junk. I am going to hang some artwork up here. And just over my shoulder here. Both of them are original Dan Dingman pieces, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, I've definitely moved all the things, so I'm feeling it in my back and my shoulders. Yeah, so let's get back to building. I'd like to finish up all of these cross pieces, and then we'll see what else. Maybe we can puzzle through. We'll go into some planning phase, and we'll puzzle through the roof structure, because I'm still not 100% on how I'm gonna do the roof and the dice drop. I think the original design that I wanted to do was gonna have a. Let me flip this around for you, lower that so you can see. The original design was going to have the roof, because this is the front. This is the side that faces the person rolling the dice. So if you're looking at it from the side, there's going to be a little bit of a dice yard out here. That's what I call them, where the dice go. So you'd have, originally it's going to be a 4-section roof, just like the original tower. It's hard to tell in this picture, but it's a 4-part roof. I don't know what they call that. And I was thinking about making this have a split that's concealed by the shingles, that it would open up one way and the other with hinges. Then you can put your dice in, but that's just asking for that to get broken. You bump it wrong and it's just going to get broken. So now I'm thinking I'm just going to go like in the Ellington Estate dice tower that I did for Barker, which I'll share pictures of that another time. But that just has where the roof comes up, and then there's just the top is chopped. The top is chopped so that you can just dice the drop in top. Nope, drop the dice in top. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. All right, let's see where it was. But let's go finish these cross braces. These cross pieces. I call my my little wine thing here, that's a name. I call it Little Jewels. I will give 300 XP if any of you can get that reference. Why do I call this Little Jewels? All right, back to cutting pieces. Where'd that piece I cut off already go? I didn't throw it away, did I? Oh, here it is. No, that's screwed. All right, so I should be able to get 2 pieces out of this. I'm not going to tell you, Anna, because that might give it away. Which jewels it is. 300 XP. And it's not a reference that you could easily just Google, because it's not even a timely reference. Unless you have Hulu and you like the same shows I do. I'll give you all a few minutes, and then I'll tell you the answer, and then I'll claim the 300 XP. That'll let me level up to level 1. And Tomiko has no idea. Alright. Well, in the sitcom from creator Bill Lawrence, Cougar Town, starring most notably Courtney Cox, they are known for drinking wine all the time. And Jules has a couple of large-scale glasses. One that she called Big Carl, that then broke. And then she has Big Lou. And so I decided I would name mine Little Jules, because it is not a giant glass that can hold a single bottle of wine. But, yeah, that's it. And my trivial knowledge of Cougar Town lets me level up to level 1 with 300 experience points. I'm totally going to multi-class. Every level I'm going to become a level 1 something else. Alright, that looks like it's sitting nice and flush. Yet I'm still bowing it a little bit. Alright, glue. What else? What else? I already told you about the Cryfoth game. I don't really have anything. I do play. So here's something you might not know. I do play once a month in a game. It's on a Friday night over on the Nerdarchy channel. Over on the Nerdarchy channel, I play once a month in a game DM'd by Nerdarchist Ted. It's a different one-shot every month. And it's based on, they have a partnership with RPG Crate, and they have adventures that come in there. And so Ted runs those, and I got invited to be a part of that. So you can find me over there once a month. I think it's broadcasting on their YouTube channel. You know what? Haha! I just glued that into the wrong corner. I completely measured that out wrong. Why didn't you tell me that? You're not paying attention. It goes from inside to outside, and I went from outside to inside. And I could technically flip it and probably be just fine. Except the other side's not textured right. Okay, well, this happens. I have minor dyslexia, so I'm not surprised that I did that. So I'm going to... I just test fit it, and it does work to go the other way. So we'll just get the texturing in the wood. Glue it again. There's a door on every side. Not sure what you're asking. It actually connects to the bottom on the same side as the door. And then at the top, so it goes from inside to outside, like this. This is how I should have done it. But I did it backwards because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, yeah, I see what you were saying, Anna, to move it over here. But yeah, I guess I probably could have done that. But this worked just fine. It's in place now. Bygones. Alright, so now, let's see, this angle should be good. Yep. So I'm just going to scratch in a... Scratching a line. Might do another stream, or do a stream that is just taking a look at what are the tools I use most frequently. Kind of do a Q&A style stream where I'll take you through the basics of crafting supplies, both in terms of tools and materials, and answer questions along the way. I gotta start writing these things down. I've written it down in my mind. Alright, that's two sides done. I didn't glue it. I put it in place. I forgot to put glue on it. I think it would be an occasional thing, maybe as new streamers or new viewers come along, or if people are requesting it. I have had that question before in the past. People asking me what kind of materials, or could you do a video? Whoops, I bumped the keyboard and switched the screen. Sorry about that. I didn't know that's what that button did, but now I do. Yeah, it makes it worse that I did that because you guys know I'm drinking. But I think it would probably be a one-time stream that I would then port over to YouTube and draw attention to. Maybe put a link in the About section. I can even talk about, it might be fun to do. Another stream that might be fun is build by request, where I'll put up a Twitter poll, maybe, or even just do it in the live stream and say, hey, what's a quick little thing that you want to see me make? And whoops, this piece does not want to sit firm. And then I'll just try it, or maybe plan it out. There might be a possibility in the future of me. Now, I don't know if any of you would remember this, but I did this about, actually, just over 2 years ago. I did this thing on the Facebook and YouTube called Imagine, because Mini Terrain Domains tagline is Imagine, Build, Play. Everything I do falls into those three categories of imagination, building, and playing. And I started to do this thing called Imagine, Build, Play, Win, where I would come up with a theme for the month, and then I would give people a week to vote on just throw ideas out, basically. And then I would take those, after a couple days, I would take those ideas, and I would put them up in a poll on the website, on the Facebook page, and I would say, here's the ideas that people had. Now, here's the top 5 that I think I could, based on what I thought, within the time frame that I could build. And what I would do is say, vote. And then the idea is that whoever's idea gets chosen, they would win a set of dice. And then I would then live build over the course of a couple weeks, whatever it was that won. And it was very short-lived. The reason is because there was a psychological element attached to it that was never inherent in the contest, but in the process of doing that contest... Oh, I forgot. Also, when it was all said and done, me and my friends would play a game on the terrain that I built, and we would stream that. And then we would have a drawing, and somebody would win that terrain, and I would send it to them. Alas, it only lasted one contest, because after that first one, see, during that time frame, when I started doing that, I had just lost my job at the publishing company I was working at. And I had a company on the hook to work for that I was really excited about. It was going to be a great opportunity, something new and exciting. And I thought I was a shoo-in for this job. Literally, like 60 seconds before I went on air to do a planning phase for the build that had been chosen, literally 60 seconds, I got the rejection email, and I made the mistake of reading it. I have never gone back to watch that video, but I know, I may have even since deleted it, but I know that it was just, it was off. I felt like crap. I actually didn't craft for close to a year after that. There was just too much depression tied in with it. I mean, ultimately within I think 2 months of that, month and a half of that, I had a new job that I'm still working at, coming up on 2 years. But I really like the idea, even if we did it just as a, a couple times a year. Just do Imagine, Build, Play, Win, where you have a chance to win the terrain that you helped pick and watch me build. I've given stuff away before in conjunction with Absolute Tabletop. I gave away the Civ, a build of a big sewer final encounter with the boss and the sewers under sand wall module that they wrote. I like doing giveaways. I gave away a couple minis with that one too. Back when Brigade Con was still a thing, I was going to be a sponsor for that. They have a new con, but I'm not entirely on board with that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I've since dealt with that and moved on beyond it, but it was a rough period of time that I'm happy to leave behind. That in there. But anyway, yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to do an Imagine, Build, Play, Win. Maybe when I have some more followers and subscribers, and it would be fun to just have a lot of people involved in that. And yes, I have a Facebook page. It's actually on the overlay here. In the upper left-hand corner. Facebook.com/mini-terrain-domain, Twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain, YouTube.com/mini-terrain-domain, and Twitter @mtdjake. I don't know why I made that different. I thought about changing it, but I'm starting to be noticed as mtdjake that I didn't feel like changing it. I briefly considered at one time just shortening the brand down to MTD, but then it kind of, what, don't you make lawnmowers and snow blowers? Well, I used to. Then I got sucked into this realm. See, I'm from a realm called Earth, where we mow our lawns and blow our snow. But here, there's no use for that. So are you like a sorcerer? Nope, just a commoner. I'm sorry, I don't know where I just went right now. Yeah, you might be following on there. A couple times a year I go in to the Facebook page and ping a bunch of my friends. And what the hell just happened? I just, well, it matches the other side, so I'm going to allow it. Somehow I came off by about 1/8 of an inch on this one. It's not quite to the corner, but the other one on that side is the same way. Mini snowblowers, yeah. I don't know if I have the chops to do that kind of detail work. Try to make like a real thing. I like making things that are similar. Hold on a second. I need to craft myself a refill. We'll see how the next part of the stream goes. Is splattered wine. There we go. Cheers. I figure if Adam Coble can drink scotch while running D&D. Watch his bar fill. Which bar is that that's filling? Alright, that's going to fit in there nicely. See, I'm not answering a question. The crafting bar for a refill. That's cool. I said C like I'm about to answer a question, but I'm not. But I've had a YouTube channel for... I have a YouTube channel, and I've had it for a little over 3 years. And it just got harder and harder to plan and shoot videos that you then have to edit into tutorials or bite-sized chunks. And I've always wanted to do stuff on Twitch. Mostly I was looking at gaming and didn't really think about doing live crafting until just a couple months ago. But something like this, just I don't think people on YouTube would be down for it. Like, what? He just posted a 4-hour video of him just randomly building and talking about stuff. And even if I might do it live, but I don't know. But I don't want to lose my YouTube audience. It's getting harder to take these and port them over because I have to have time to edit. I think what I'm going to do in the next couple weeks is I'm going to start simulcasting to YouTube. Yeah, I mean, some of the audience is... I have two. My core is always RPGs. I believe in sticking to RPGs. If I started doing like fitness stuff or talking about food or family or life on my YouTube channel, that would just be a mixed message. I'd lose a lot of subscribers. I'd get a new subscribers that'd be like, what the hell's going on here? So I believe in staying on that same that same basic category. But I think a lot of people in the YouTube audience, because there's about 7,500 people over there on YouTube. Yeah, Tamiko, I just haven't. I don't know why I haven't. I have the ability. It's just changing the stream key to restream.io. And I know I can handle it with the, I just have to pop open a second chat over here that shows me the YouTube chat as well. Because I want to start simulcasting my games as well. Just everything. Then I don't have to worry about porting it over to YouTube. I'm kind of curious why Critical Role, because I know they simulcast now, why they don't keep the YouTube video up on the channel. They wait a couple days. Unless it has to do with that whole thing with the algorithms and demonetization. That could be. Or maybe it's because they do rebroadcasts. I don't know. But yeah, we'll be simulcasting soon. It's going to make it easier to just have the content on YouTube without having to spend time editing. Also, Drake and I, the RPG Construct, we are doing our Something RPG-ish podcast. That has its own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/somethingRPG-ish, where we do a podcast about RPG stuff. This is the last side. See, I almost just did it the wrong way. Talking about Critical Role, Tomiko? Oh, yeah, because they want everybody at Alpha. I like the idea of Alpha. Honestly, it's not the paywall, the subscription that keeps me out of it. It's that they have so much dang content that I'm not... I can't. I can't spend every waking moment watching Project Alpha. But, I mean, they do have some cool stuff. I mean, what do they charge? Don't they charge like $5 or $10 a month or something like that for their content? And it all ends up eventually where you can see it. I mean, Critical Role, if you don't watch Critical Role when it's broadcast, which I just can't because that doesn't get over till 2 a.m. and I can't handle that. That gives me 3.5 hours of sleep if I'm lucky, and I'm a zombie. Then I got adventurers coming out trying to kill me, and I got to rely on that zombie toughness that doesn't always kick in. Too much hassle. But they rebroadcast the next day at like 10:30, and Fridays are pretty chill for me. So I actually caught their rebroadcast. Their break timed up with my lunch, so I could go make my lunch, come back and watch the rest of it. But if I don't do that, I watch the YouTube video, rather listen to it on Monday. Oh, $5 a month? Well, maybe when this channel starts to make a little bit more, I can afford to use that to expand and meet people in that space. I mean, I already interact with some of them on Twitter, but yeah, I mean, I can afford $5 a month. I just can't afford 10 services at $5 a month. Whoa. Yeah, you're evidently a crafting fan, girl. There's a lot of cool crafting streamers. Have you checked out Craft Hags? I know with you being in the PNW, it might not work for you because of timing-wise. But Danny Hartel streams Craft Hags on the official D&D channel on Mondays at, I think it's noon Pacific, because I think it's at 3 p.m. my time. Might even be a little bit earlier. Honestly, it's got to be 11 Pacific because it's at 2 Eastern. She's the official costumer for the Acquisitions Incorporated C team, and she did Chris Perkins' Serac for the Ac Inc. game. She's just awesome. Craft Hags is awesome. I need to cook something, I think. Afkish? Oh, AFK. I thought Ackfish was something that Anna was going to cook. I was going to ask what it was. I got you. AFK-ish. You're sort of away. Anna, are you like your mom? Do you have Bluetooth headphones that you just cook and do dishes and whatever while you're participating in a hangout? I think it's awesome that you guys just hang out with me on 1 or 2 nights a week. Tomiko's obviously done it enough that I gave her admin status or moderator status. I don't know what the hell I was thinking with that. But it's funny, Tomiko, because prior to Yeah, I know you get up and walk away from your chair all the time in Hangouts. Tamiko, it's funny because I didn't know you prior to AtCon last year. Like, I hadn't even seen you really in the group very much. And I was just kind of like, who is this Tamiko person? And then we met you at AtCon. And you played in mine and Drake's Tomb of Minor Inconveniences. And you were just a blast. You're just an awesome person. You're good people. So, yeah, having you here is awesome. You're phenomenal in the way you support the community. Man, this one got short. What the heck happened? That's too short. I don't think I can let that. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I can cheat it a little bit. That'll work. But anyway, what I'm saying is I appreciate you. And I appreciate you, Hannah. I appreciate everybody that stops in. You know, the channel. I mentioned, I thought that said mostly fun. Awesomely fun. Thanks, Tamiko. I mentioned this a couple times, but Twitch says remind people once an hour. I made affiliate status. Met the criteria to make affiliate status, become a Twitch affiliate. They sent me the invite. And what that means is right now it means that I make a little bit of revenue. I get a portion of if you subscribe, even if you didn't pay, if you do the Twitch Prime and you subscribe to the channel, Twitch shares that money with me. And during the Mummy Lord game, one of the followers, what you're looking at, I think he shows up in the chat as being the top cheerer. It's dropped down to 300 because it's after a few days it starts to reset. But during that game, he was cheering for different segments. And you can get free cheer bits, but cheer bits actually are given to the streamer as revenue. What that means is eventually, as I get more subscriptions, more followers, people do cheering, all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. It means I can improve my equipment. I can purchase new things for tutorials and crafting builds. Eventually, I'm hoping, to be able to support the channel to attend conventions and things like that. But I just want to be very transparent with you that I'm not asking you for money. But if you want to give me money, that's cool. I have a donations button on the page that is completely voluntary. But if somebody wanted to contribute to that, just know that any money that comes to the channel is being used primarily to improve the channel. To do things that will make the channel a better place. Eventually, I'd like to upgrade my microphones. I talked about getting a lav mic. I'd like to improve my monitor. I'd like to get another camera, get some better lights. But I'd also like to get some other crafting equipment and gaming equipment and game supplies, and I need to get a new chair. I need a DX Racer Pro or DX Racer Fat Boy chair. This chair sucks. I keep getting stuck in it. It's got stupid little arms on it. It's not meant for a big guy like me. Yeah, the cheering thing's weird, Tamiko. I can't show you because I can't do it, but depending on like where you send your message, there's a little thing that looks like a pyramid. And then, yeah, it won't let me even see the interface because I can't cheer my own channel. But it'll say there's a way to get bits and you can watch a video and earn bits. And I don't know. It's not important. Don't worry about it. But I've thought about doing like a Patreon before. I know a lot of people both in the crafting and streaming space do Patreons. But that just seems weird because that's like me having to set a bunch of stuff up and specifically for the purpose of saying, if you pay me a buck or two or three a month and I do this many videos, you're paying me to do this, which is cool, but I'm also giving you rewards and I have to think up rewards. And what kind of rewards do you give for crafters? I don't know. Patreons always seem kind of weird to me. I mean, making money isn't weird, but I just want to be able to... I want the channel to be self-sustaining. I mean, nothing against people that have Patreons. If you were able to figure it out, cool. You know what? I'm thinking... Because here's what we got. Well, here's what we did tonight. We did the walkways here. We pinned in the sides. We glued them to the supports underneath. We got a couple gaps that I'm a little disappointed in, but I think we can fix it in post. We also did the cross braces here. Had a couple foibles with that for getting the glue one. We also did the bottom piece here. The little, I don't even know what to call that. I'm just calling it a fascia, but... I'm not ready to quit. I've still got wine left, so my crafting gauge is still kind of full. Maybe what I'll do... Oh, scheisse. Let me see. This is going to be dependent on... Well, I can do half of it. I'm doing that thing where I think something and then comment on it, but not tell you what I was thinking. This is just random bits. Shoot. There's a... let me check one other place. There's little metal rings that I need that I may have stuck somewhere in the move. Alright, so I'll have to find the metal rings. Son of a... This is full of a variety. I think these are the ones I wanted to use. Yeah, these ones are too long. These are... I need to grab a tweezers real quick. I can show you. There we go. My good sharp tweezers. These are clock hands. So there's one. You probably can't even see that. Let me do this. I'm going to put a couple different samples on this card. And then I'll hold it closer to the camera for you. Oh, these are going to represent hinges on the door. Actually, I think this is the one I wanted to use. No, that's too big. So I'm not going to put that one out. Ah, yes, this. This is what I'm going to use. So these are... I'll put one of the big ones in so you can see it. They're probably for like scrapbooking and stuff like that. Come on, focus, you POS. Anyway, there we go. Kind of. Yes, they're quite small. So what I'm thinking is we're going to put like that. It took me forever to sort these into these little things. But that's going to make the spacing is going to be a little bit better. But I'm going to glue those on for hinges. That's actually exactly why I bought these. And then we'll put for door pulls little handles. Hinges on the door, not hinges. That'll be our secret phrase that nobody will know what we're talking about. Ninjas on the door. What was that sound? It's ninjas on the door. Hashtag ninjas on the door. Oh, that's too funny. Thought I said ninjas on the door. Got me. So I'm thinking roughly, whoops. This is terrible for my eyes. My magnifier's not plugged in right now. So, yeah, I mean, you guys like those? I love it. I love it. It's 100%. That's, boom, those are door hinges. And when this whole thing is painted and I paint this, I'm going to black bomb the whole thing. But these will be probably a gunmetal color. And then there'll be a little pull ring over here on the side. So I think we're going to put them on the left. Man, which way is the door? Yeah, we'll do it that way. I'm hoping the sticky glue is enough. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Be Right Back. I'm going to repurpose my Be Right Back sign. There we go. I'm wondering if I should measure these though, so they're all the same. So I know these are roughly inch and 1, 2, 5/8. Man, why did I say I'd do that? 1B. Yeah, this way they're all going to be the same. Blow torch corpses. Hello from Grand Rapids. And Nate, WASD20, or as I like to say, WASD20 Nate. Welcome, Grand Rapidians. I think that's what they say. I don't actually live in Grand Rapids. I'm about 30 miles south of there. But, yeah. Welcome. Low-torched corpse, I'm going to ask, are you somebody that I know? Because the thing with usernames here is I never know who they are. Yeah, because Llama 747's over in Michigan, is in Michigan too. I won't give your location unless you want to. But, yeah, Michigan's representing up in the house tonight. Oh, it's Greg. Man, Greg, I was just telling a little bit ago about Imagine Build Play Win and how I only gave away one build, and it was you, and I hand delivered it to you at your tattoo shop. Greg Lewis and I, so I'm going to tell a fun story here to the 6 of you that are here watching. Greg Lewis, I met Greg because I went to a local comic shop that also sold game supplies, and Nate, maybe even Anna, you might know this place. It's called Goldmine Comics in Grand Rapids. And I went in there to buy some Icons of the Realms for, I forget which set. Princes of the Apocalypse, I think, because I got an Elemental. Oh, that's working really good. Hinges are looking good. And there was a dude in there also buying some miniatures. And there was the clerk. And I think I bought 2 or 3 boxes. They were like the $12 Icons of the Realms blind boxes. And I mentioned that, hey, I like to take these. Well, they asked, hey, would you mind opening them here at the counter so we can see what you got? I'm like, sure, no problem. That'd be cool. And they asked me, or no, I said, I said, hey, I like to take these and sometimes rebase them, repaint them. I have a YouTube channel where I kind of show terrain stuff. And this dude standing there goes, hey, you aren't by any chance Mini Terrain Domain, are you? And I went, what? Yeah, that's me. He's like, dude, I watch your stuff all the time. I literally randomly bumped into one of my viewers in a local comic shop. I mean, I think at the time I might have had 1,500 subscribers. So the odds of that, and Greg and I have been friends ever since. We've talked a lot on Facebook. Greg actually played at Grand Con, a local convention, a couple years ago. Was one of my players in the Tomb of the Mummy Lord game I ran. Phenomenal artist. And, you know, I talked earlier about in the new space here, I'm going to put some art up. I've got some art, some prints that Greg gave me of some amazing artwork that he's done that I'm excited to be able to have a place finally to display some of that. I just found that. So welcome, Greg. It's great to have you here. And I haven't talked to him in a while, man. I hope you're doing all right. And Nate, it's great to have you here as well. Nate and I, a lot of people, some people in the community, the Absolute Tabletop community obviously know who Nate is. But Nate and I have, we met up last year, I think. We met up at a local hobby shop, Riders. And I forgot to measure that out. Dang it. We picked some minis, and then we put it to a vote, and we had a painting hangout. And Nate still owes me a playthrough of the Tomb of the Mummy Lord. I know he wants to do it, but even though we live so close, scheduling can be a nightmare sometimes. Greg says he's building terrain tonight, too. That's awesome. Greg shares his work over on the Tabletop Crafters Guild, which is another Facebook page I definitely want to be sure to promote. It started out life as DM Scotty's Crafts and Games, but then I think there's some 20 or 30,000 people in that group now, if I remember correctly. And they've they're kind of becoming the premier place for crafting. And what they do, or what they've done, is Jeremy Pilipow from Black Magic Craft, Gareth from the DMG Down Under. I added the Down Under part. And Wylock from Wylock's Crafting Vids. They all kind of partnered up. And I can't grab this one for some reason. Come on, you son of a... They partnered up and renamed the channel the Tabletop Crafters Guild. People share crafting and terrain, miniatures. And I shared the link for this crafting stream over there as well. Lots of love for that place. But Greg, I'm pleased to have you here while you're crafting. I would love to see you here some more. Would love to meet up with you again sometime. I am in love with these hinges. Look at this. That is dope. Focus. Focus. Come on, camera. Show the love. Focus. I'm going to hold you there until you... Maybe it's just because I've had too much wine and I'm not focused. Anyway, I'm in love with these hinges. Those are so much cooler than I even thought they would look. Oh, man. That's the kind of stuff I love about doing terrain crafting. Now, it's this... I got it set on autofocus. And... it can focus in pretty close, but it just sometimes decides it's not gonna focus. So what I'm doing, because I wasn't telling you when I was measuring these, is based on the overall measurement, I decided that 3/8 of an inch from the top and the bottom is where these hinges go, and I'm just making a little mark. Something I like to do when I think I talked about this in the previous stream when we were talking about the width of the boards and all this stuff, is I tried to, because we're working in 28mm, I tried to think of it in terms of what the real scale is for the miniatures. So things tend to get out of proportion, especially with weapons and stuff sometimes, because you can only make stuff in such detail that small so much. I don't think that sentence made sense at all. Anyway, I try to think, if this board, you know, if the miniature is 28mm, so a 1.5 inch miniature or whatever is a 6-foot miniature, how wide would this board be? And these boards are probably close, you know, scale wise, they're like foot wide boards or 10-inch wide boards. Yeah, good idea, Tamiko. Let me pop up. This is what I'm working on for reference. Come on, I can't get a hold of this. Yeah, I would be buzzing all over the place. I am buzzing all over the place. If I was playing Operation. The stupid... It's nothing except me, I'm sure. Look at these super sharp... Oh, the glue's getting super tacky, too. Super, super, super. There it goes again. Alright. I'm just going to shove it down there. Might have to dust this one, or dust it. Pop it over with the water. That looks really good. So, Tamiko and Anna in particular, but even our new arrivals, Nate, Greg, anybody else that's watching and lurking. What do you think of this new presentation? With the lighting, I mean, is the lighting good enough for you? Do I need to improve the lighting? Do you like the overhead view, or would you prefer a camera that's maybe a little more to the side that I can move around and get close-ups? You know, ultimately, I want to make sure my viewers are getting the most out of the stream. We're probably going to go about maybe 30 more minutes tops. I got to have time to unwind. Looks and sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it's comfortable for your work since you like it. Lighting is great. As far as the overhead, is it comfortable for your work since you like to pull in? I'm thinking I might just add a third camera that I could switch to. That's maybe like a detail camera. I might do something like, I'm guessing this is what Nate does. I've seen others do, where they put their camera on like a Gorilla Pod, and then they put it literally right here. So it's kind of really close to the work. I think that might work for minis, but I don't like the idea of having a camera that would be like right here. I mean, it would probably be something like this, and it means I'm going to be right over top of it, and depending on what I'm doing, it could get in the way. But I like having over here on the side a I had this camera on a boom before, and I could kind of move it around a little bit. But it was also up on the hutch that I no longer have. Man, those friggin'... I'm just loving those. I'm in love with those hinges. 100%. I'm going to take those hinges behind the barn and have a baby with them. That got weird real fast. I apologize. I forget what show that was on. Where somebody made the joke about, oh, that was so good. I want to take it behind the thing and make a baby with it. And then they kept saying it. Yeah, with the large pieces, that would be overwhelming. I only have one camera, Nate says, but I either hang it from the hutch above my desk, or yeah, for minis, I do the Gorilla Pod. I got two, and it's really dependent on your system, because the cameras do take a lot. I like having the one visual. I don't know. I guess I should ask you guys, do you like that you can see me in the corner? I mean, most of the time you're probably looking at the top of my head. But do you like that you can see me in the inset, or is it just completely unnecessary? I guess I should ask that question first. Put way too much glue down. But I like being able to switch between the different camera views. And 2 cameras is essential if I'm going to start doing more terrain-based streaming like I did for AbTab with the Tomb of the Mummy Lord. What the hell am I doing? Oh yeah, I gotta measure this piece. It's nice sometimes being able to see me. I like being able to see you. Just make sure your camera is set at low resolution. It's tiny, so it doesn't have to be as high res. You know, that's a good point. I think I'm actually running it at 1920 by 1080, but it doesn't need to run that high. But then again, with this new system, I've been monitoring it, and I'm only running at 50% CPU usage right now. And I don't know what's using all my CPU. Something in there's using it up. I didn't restart it before the stream, which I usually do. But this new system has 7th generation i7 quad-core 2.8 gigahertz. Supposed to be able to throttle it up with boost, overclock it. But they haven't enabled that yet. It's got some pretty good fans in it. It's got a NVIDIA GTX 1060 with 6 gigabytes of RAM. And the video RAM, the GPU is at about 50%. It's taking a lot of the load for Twitch. Oh, you know what's weird? OBS isn't showing up in my resource manager. That might be what's going on. For whatever reason, it's not showing up. Yeah, I know you guys can see me. I was very conscious of that when I did, because I don't have a break splash screen. I will have a break screen for the next stream I do. But I was conscious of that when I was standing up. I'm more concerned about belt cleavage or my belly showing or something. Maybe I can figure out a way that this camera that's up here, right here, that maybe I can somehow incorporate the boom into that. Or Gorilla Pod or something. I would like to be able to have it, you know, be able to pull it in closer. I really can't wait to get to the painting phase of this. The first couple coats of, like, that's when it actually slows down. I'm going to do the, I'm probably going to do the what's it called? I've completely lost what it's called. Mod Podge primer. method at the end of a stream or off stream. And then I still like to base coat it in black. I'll probably do that off stream. And then, believe it or not, I will probably paint this entire model in one stream. I use a heat gun to speed up the drying process, but there's a good chance that I'll be able to do the entire thing in one stream, and then we'll finish it up with a wash. Okay, so I got all the door hinges on. This glue worked really well for these. This sticky tacky glue. Put the lid on that. Let's take a look at what we got here. Decided that they were all hinged on that side. Now, technically, especially when you look at the reference pic, if you look over here at the tower, and you can kind of see the door hinges there. The door's flush with the trim, and the hinges are on there so it can open outward. I'm not going to sweat those details too much. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream before I have to take another potty break. It's getting close, but and we'll go back to here. Yeah, I think this. So, what do you think? Especially you that have been here when I was going over this, but even the new folks. I did these angle pieces here. This instead. I did these angle pieces here, but nothing up here. You think that still looks good? I do. I like it. There's 3 sections and nothing extra going on in the top section. And this is actually going to probably be partially obscured with the roof overhang. So here's the front. Where the dice come out. Here. Remember, we're going to do the inserts for the shutters. They're going to go in there. Thanks to Anna, I believe, and maybe Tamiko, I remembered to texture the bottom of the wood in the last stream. Fargonaut, Anna, Tamiko all say they think it looks good without the top pieces. Yeah, I agree. So, okay, so here's... Let me grab some paper because this is kind of in the conceptualizing phase. Some notes from the last game that I ran. This is actually from the... Believe it or not, I say that a lot, believe it or not. I'm going to actually move this just over here so it's still visible. This right here is all of my notes for the entirety of the Tomb of the Mummy Lord 4.5 hour game that I ran on the channel. There wasn't a stream on Thursday, Anna. I wound up not being able to... I had a lot going on that day, and I couldn't make it home in time to get a stream going. I'd had a very busy day at work, so it was last Sunday's stream. Anyway, this is it. This is this is a glimpse into how I track initiative, monster hit points, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I digress. So for the let's say this is just gonna do some really crude here. This is the railing around the upper section. So here's where the dice come out. Here's a little window. We got door. We've got angle piece, blah, blah, blah. So we're at the roof, right? So what we've got on the outer structure, the roof is going to basically be all four sides. The original design of the tower is that you would have a peak like this. But this is a dice tower. We need to be able to drop dice in. So we're going to chop it right across the top here. Probably put some wood trim around the top there. So this is what our roof is actually going to look like. And it ends up working out really nice. You know what I might do? Because for Barker's dice tower, I actually made an insert that looked like an absurdly large chimney. I might actually make an insert that continues the shingles. So when it's not in use, it's a display piece. So we may actually do that. But so this is going to be all shingles. And we're going to do a stream. I show you how I make shingles. I actually have in my past, I've spent time as a roofer, or rather a roofing laborer. And I've shingled a few roofs myself. So roofs. But here's the thing. So let's go back to this top piece. I had a terrible time. So this is this part here. Well, it's not so much a removable top. I mean, it will have a removable piece. I want it to still look like what it's supposed to be at the gaming table. I don't want to have this huge roof that comes off and it's just this empty top. So, one of the problems I had is, you see, this is the basic square of the top here. When you make a roof, it looks kind of like this. And then here's your interior, the 4 sections, and then I do my hot glue stitching, so this gets a crap load of glue in it. Going back and forth there. But what you end up with is this piece that's like this. Look at here. You have the single point of contact. And that's actually all the way along the edge, but it's a very narrow point of contact. And I had trouble with the first one where the roof just wasn't stable. I mean, look at, we've got, this is probably close to I would say 5/8 maybe. Because there's foam there too. It's a 1/2 inch, so 4/8. It's a 1/2 inch of total. Actually, let's factor in the wood too. It's not a 1/2 inch. How the hell did I say 1/2 inch? 3/8. It's almost a 1/2 inch. But all of this here, and it would really only be connecting here at the very edge. That's not very stable. So I had this idea that, kind of like I did with the pyramid. So let me show you that basic design. Do a cutaway here. So the pyramid has an interior space that's like this. But the exterior space is like this, right? I didn't want to have, you know, unsupported area here. So what I did is, from a top view, if you take that square, you have your playable space, and then you have your actual footprint, the outer dimension. Each of these lines here represents a cardboard triangle that acts as a support for the infrastructure of the pyramid. And then there's a vertical piece here, right? And then I think I probably put like this. I wanted a lot of stability. And each one of these is glue stitched in all the seams and everything. Okay? I'm losing people. I feel like I don't know if you guys are following me or not. So what I'm thinking is for this here and for the roof to be able to attach appropriately, minus the overhang, I think what I need to do is create those at this 3/8 of an inch. Actually, I would make it be I would probably go 5/8 with it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go 5/8 of an inch. So we're going to get an overhang. I'm going to write that down. Right? And then this again is cutaway. But it's going to look like this all the way around. And I'll do little triangular pieces. So, and then what I'll do too is I'll use these, where'd they go? Hit these glued to the underside to be kind of like the roofing part. So you'll see just like, they'll be really small, maybe even stick out just a hair. And let's look back at the reference model. If you look real carefully up under the roof edge there, now this one is kind of at an angle in there, but you can see that there's brace pieces for the roof. The slats that would run horizontal, and then these that run vertical. So, yeah. And then what this ultimately means is when the roof, and I use a really thin corrugated cardboard. So let's say, so like I said, this is cutaway. This is our prime. I don't even know what to call this. The gable. We'll call it the gables. This is the gables. I don't think that's right. The soffit? I don't know. I'm going to call it the gables. And then we might have these stick out just a little bit. I think that would be a cool aesthetic. That can be added on afterward. But what that's going to give us is this, all of this becomes surface area to which, and it's only going to come to the edge here. So it's not going to interfere with our dice rolling surface at all. Well, this is beyond the shingling. This has nothing to do with roofing, Anna. But here's what I'm getting at. The whole point to this rambling speech on soffits and gables and whatever is that this area here becomes, because this will end up being, we'll figure out our pitch of our roof. I'm thinking we'll go a little higher pitch. So let's say we end up with something like this. So we're going to be looking at, if that's the edge, and it comes to there, we're going to have over 1 inch, over 1 inch of surface all the way around that our partial roof is going to attach to. So that's going to be a nice solid, and I'll probably use hot glue. We'll lay it on there and then we'll press it on nice and firm. But not at the bottom edge because we don't want it to bleed out. That is going to work perfectly for that. Now, I was just thinking about, to make sure that this, because when I did the chimney on Ellington Estate, it was an afterthought. And it worked, but I think in order to make this work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I'm going to actually make the roof all the way to its peak. We're going to make a peaked roof. And then we're going to carefully cut the top section off before we shingle it. We'll put it in place while we're doing shingles, but we won't glue this course together. I'll have to figure something out so it'll have like a cardboard underlayment or something to give it stability. But then what we'll do is we'll attach a small square of thicker foam. So let's say this is, let's say this is the removable piece, the plug, if you will. We'll take a small piece of foam that we'll cut that will fit right down inside here. And that's just for when it's being displayed. It should have some kind of feature to use as a handle. You might have to explain your thinking on that one, Anna. There should not be a handle on this anywhere. This model, when it's all done, would be like that. Is going to end up being something like this. And then you're going to have a piece that comes out about like this. And I'm actually going to do, I'm excited to do this part too. This is going to be a Palisades with like spiked fence posts. And the whole thing sits on a foam base. This thing should only ever be picked up by the base. Maybe gripping the sides, but one of the things I like to do with these kind of things is, oh, you wouldn't have to pry the shingle cap out. You'd be able to just grab it. You'll be able to just grab it. It's going to be a loose fit. Firm enough that you can like grab it here and pull out. I see what you're saying now, though. That makes sense, Hannah. Yeah. But real quick, one of the things I did with, I even did this because I don't do this with normal set pieces, but with Ellington Estate, I took like, I had some little crates that make up the set piece, and I actually drilled into them, and I made a pin out of a toothpick, and I pinned everything in place for extra stability. And I'll ultimately do the same thing with this, is I'll use like barbecue skewers in the four corners as pins, so that in addition to being glued down all along this seam, it's got pins that help hold it in place. Because ultimately this is going to be used at the gaming table. It's going to see some action, get played with quite a bit by Dave. So yeah, all right. So that was the thinking process on this. So just I'm going to switch over camera because we're getting ready to wrap this up here. Hey, yeah, wow, that camera's really wide. You can even see my door. You'll be able to see when my kids peek in asking for if they can hug me goodnight. Servicey table flips by murdered players. What? Survive table flips. I'm guessing is what you're saying there. Anyway, so this stream is the last Sunday night stream for the next few weeks. Starting next Sunday, right here at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be at Mini Terrain Domain, will be host to Marquise running a 7-week playtest of Dice on Ice's Cryfoth game system, which is D&D 5e. It's a survival-based system. It's an exciting game. There will be promotion on that. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to adjust the stream yet. I'm definitely still streaming on Thursdays. I may move to doing Tuesday night crafting streams as well, because I'd like to get a solid 6 hours at least per week. Saturdays are a little iffy for me while my daughter's in gymnastics. But in next week, we have a gymnastics meet out of town. So I won't be able to do like a Saturday morning stream, but maybe I can do some Friday night streams too. I do have a game next Friday. And that brings me to my next point. I'm going to go back over to the overhead here real quick to show you up here in this corner. You can go to facebook.com/miniterraindomain and you can keep up with some updates there. You'll get even more updates up here at Twitter. Go to @MTD_Jake. I'm getting very active on Twitter. Of course, be sure to follow and possibly subscribe to twitch.tv/miniterraindomain where you're watching right now for updates when we go live. And of course, over on the youtube.com/miniterraindomain to see all the stuff I've done before and archives of these episodes. So I'll figure that out. Monday nights, right here, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, that's tomorrow night. Jolt of Personality is our Tomb of Annihilation not one shot, I don't know why I said that, campaign featuring Megan from Dice on Ice, Drake the RPG Construct and the other half of the Something RPG-ish podcast, Mike from Mike the Piper, and Marquise from Point of Inspiration and just Marquise. And then your Mini Terrain Domain MTD Live Guild Artisan crafting streams are every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. I stop at 10 p.m. because that's when Critical Role starts and I'm not competing with them. And then for the next several weeks, we'll be doing whenever. And eventually, very soon, I'll start streaming some video games as well. So as always, thank you for spending your Sunday evening with me. I appreciate it. Remember, the tagline of Mini Terrain Domain is Imagine, Build, Play. And of course, I've been Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. Omitted.